Jimmy Kimmel is returning to late night after ABC suspended his show last week over his comments on Charlie Kirk's assassination. In case you missed it, Jimmy Kimmel falsely implied to his audience that the MAGA gang was scrambling to deny the killer was one of their own. The fallout cost him his job. ABC had pulled Jimmy Kimmel off air after affiliates refused to carry the program. His firing ignited protest, which may have contributed to the network's abrupt about-face. In Hollywood and San Francisco, demonstrators gathered outside ABC and Nexstar affiliates holding signs and chanting against the decision to take Kimmel off the air. Kimmel's late-night competitors have also been standing in solidarity with the fallen martyr.
We are all Jimmy Kimmel. I still have a show, though, right? Okay, good.
Yeah, hysterical. In Washington, senators have been accusing federal regulators of having pressured ABC and its affiliates. Even some Republicans are pressing the FCC over what they call dangerous political interference in speech. But that narrative didn't last long. In a statement made today, ABC's parent company, Disney, explained, "Last Wednesday, we made a decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. It is a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday." Joining us now to react to this is the president of the Conservative Caucus, Jim Pfaff. Jim, thanks for joining me here today. What is this? The squeaky wheel gets the oil? Is that what we're seeing here?
Well, you know, first of all, I don't even care if Jimmy Kimmel's on air or off air. Who cares? The guy doesn't have anybody watching him anyway. But yeah, it's a squeaky wheel gets the grease. When he goes back on air, they're going to get a very momentary bump in ratings, fed by a bunch of reposting of people disgusted with whatever comment that he's going to make when he goes back on air. And then the ratings are going to go back into the tank where they've been for a long period of time. I mean, the uproar over all this on the left has been absurd. Like, you know, it's the second coming. They literally have been saying it's the second coming of fascism to the United States. Oh, my gosh. And all the things that are going to happen to free speech. Well, that is not what was going on. The guy's ratings are in the tank. And frankly, Sinclair and Nexstar were right to be offended at the comments that he made. That were really stupid and highly inaccurate. A lie, actually.
Yeah, it was, and he did it on purpose. He knew what he was doing. He's lying on purpose. But still, like you said, this guy, you know, he can't draw a crowd. He will see a bump. You had all these Democrats, the ones that didn't shed a tear for Charlie Kirk. They all of a sudden saw this as an opportunity to have their martyr, and they wanted to make this to compete against what was going on with us on this side with Charlie Kirk. It fell flat. They look foolish. They're wearing Jimmy Kimmel hats on them. So it's one of these things where they cried about it. Now, they said that President Trump is the one that shut this down. But if Trump shut it down, how did he not stop it from coming back on? So this totally destroys what they were saying, no?
Well, and I can guarantee you that Donald Trump's not going to be saying, no, he should be still taken down. I mean, he'll say maybe mean things about him, but that was never what happened to begin with. Seriously, I mean, Brendan Carr, listen, I wasn't the biggest advocate of what Brendan Carr said about, well, maybe we need to look at the license, but that is on the books. The FCC can look at the license in circumstances like this. But beyond that, no actions were taken by the government, and you literally had two of their major affiliates saying, you know, this is outrageous. It was highly insensitive. It was clearly wrong. What I'm concerned about is the fact that very little acknowledgement on the left that a massive censorship industrial complex was taking place during the Biden administration to shut down all conservative speech. And you're worried about one failed late night talk show host, yet you really had an entire regime to keep people off social media and out of the public square who you politically disagreed with, using the power of the sword, the power of government to do so. So Donald Trump never got anywhere near that. He never will, because that's not what he's trying to do. And I think that, you know, at the end, truth is going to prevail.
I hope so, but it is true that, now they're crying about the censorship. And just like you said, they think like we have amnesia, like we all have forgotten what took place like during COVID-19. People not only just lost their accounts on YouTube and TikTok and all that stuff, people lost their livelihoods. I mean, people were getting censored. I mean, people were getting fired from their job for not taking a vaccine that they didn't need. I mean, things that were going on were incredible during that time. And they all of a sudden, they forgot it and just have moved on. And we're all kind of saying, wait a minute, now you're crying over Jimmy Kimmel. Where were you when all of us were being blocked from having conversations about what was going on? And they didn't care to help us. They didn't turn around and help us. Only now that they see Jimmy Kimmel now he's back on the air. So it's just more hypocrisy from the left.
Well, it's hardly a taste of their own medicine because it doesn't even rise to the level of what they were doing over the last 10 years. But even more to the point, Donald Trump has no need to censor the media. He is highly effective at calling them out for who they are. But even one more point, the Democrat Party, I maintain, is not an American party. And when I say that, I talk about the politicians, the political operatives, and the people in the media on the left. The reality is that there were tens of millions of Democrats that voted for Donald Trump last year. That's why he had such an overwhelming majority in the popular vote. And there is no connection with most Democrats to the Democrat Party when it comes to areas like this. In effect, Donald Trump's winning the argument. Those of us on the right who try to speak out every single day about what's happening in our government, we win out, and we continue to win out because our platforms are far freer right now, and there's an ability to counter this. And having that opportunity has effectively shut down the narrative the left tried to drum up here. They don't have the platforms to do that anymore because people don't accept it, not because the platform shut them down. They had a great opportunity to speak. It fell flat, and, I'm not tired of winning.
Yeah, me neither. And we also seen during the election, we've seen all the stats of how much percentage was being covered of Trump negatively, Kamala Harris positively. They did everything they could to try to hurt Trump's campaign during that. Trump knows this, yet he still gives them the time of day. They're still there. He still sits down with them. He'll still engage with them in conversation. And I think he does it just so he could point out the fact. I mean, look at ABC's got to pay him $16 million for defamation. I mean, he toys with them, and they think that they have the upper hand on him. But I think he's someone like, I would say, why do you even talk to these people anymore? But he does it, and I guess he's right for doing it because he just gives it right back to them, and he exposes them for who they are.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most effective thing that he does is his gaggles with the media, whether he's about to get on Air Force One, getting on Marine One, or wherever he happens to be. But more importantly, the American people absolutely know what's going on here. One of the reasons that this effort to cry censorship and fascism has failed is because it's failed with the American people, who are the intelligent aspect of this free republic that we have. Sometimes they're slow on the uptake, sometimes they don't quite get it, but they always do get it in the end. They're trying to live their lives while politicians fight and squabble. But when they do fight and squabble and there's time to process it, the American people tend to make the right decision almost every time. I mean, that's why there's a lot of hope for who we are as an American people, because these lies and deceptive tactics that have been happening on the left just do not work. I mean, I think we had 100 million people stream or watch live in some form or fashion the Charlie Kirk Memorial over the weekend. That's a huge number. The American people really are paying attention to what's going on. And yeah, we have those who highly dissent, and maybe radical leftists highly dissenting, but the American people still have a good core in them, and it gives me a lot of hope for the future, frankly.
I agree with you, and I love that, Jim. I think you hit a home run with that. And with that, I got to get you out of here. Jim Pfaff, President of the Conservative Caucus, thank you so much for joining me on Fine Point.
Thanks, Alan.
All right, that's all the time we have. Remember to download the OAN Live app on your TV and your favorite streaming devices. You can also catch any Fine Point episodes you may have missed right there in the app. With our video on demand feature, you can also save Fine Point episodes to your library on YouTube TV. Spread the word. Good night, Godspeed, till tomorrow.